been about a year now since I started making YouTube videos, and it's kind of weird to say that it's been a year. Time's really gone by fast. I've seen the ups, the downs, the good views, the bad views, inconsistency, struggling to make videos, whatever it might be. But I remember when I first started, the focus or idea of the channel was the most important part. And for me, that was making videos like Phil Kofer, Nigel B. Murray, Joel, Colby Davis, Praise the Salu, and a lot of creators like that. I wanted my videos style to look like theirs, but as far as what I wanted to portray, I always wanted to inspire people to do better. To not accept being the lowest version of yourself, to always try and do better. And of course, have God at the center, because without Him, I'm nothing. Without Him, I would have never been able to start my channel, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into some important points and some things that you need to start working on the focus of your channel. Okay, so coming up with your focus or idea. Why is that so important? Because if you just buy a camera, buy this, that, and the third to start making YouTube videos, you're gonna be aimless. So the importance of coming up with a focus or idea for your channel. For a gamer, that might be making walkthrough videos, kind of like the Rad Brad is who I used to watch, or trying to make fun, entertaining videos, kind of like Thanos Gaming on GTA. Those type of people. It's the same as gaming, but it's two different ways of shooting their content. So for you, it might be vlog style content. Okay, well, what are some different vloggers? Logan Paul, he used to do a vlog every day, high intensity, posting every day. But someone like Phil Kofer, who I mentioned before, it's a lot more laid back type videos, not as frequent posting, a lot calmer, things like that. So you need to think about those kind of things before you're starting to make your channel, because it's very important to get off to a strong start and having a strong understanding of what you're trying to record, what you're trying to make, what kind of point you're trying to get across. That's kind of the baseline for having a strong foundation to a great channel. So three of the most, I treat it like a business. So when you're about to go into business, the first thing you want to know is what industry you're getting into. So like I said, that's the gaming, the vlogs, cooking, that kind of stuff. And then you want to find your target market. So is that people over the age of 30, people under the age of 20? And then, culture is a big thing as well. So if you're marketing towards a certain race, you want to generate content that is relevant to that race. It's all business. And then the third thing is, what do you want them to gain? So what do you want them to gain from your video? The most important thing is value. That's why I'm switching up my content style back to what I was making, like videos like this. Valuable content. So industry, target market, what value are you trying to bring them? All right, now everyone's favorite part to starting their YouTube channel, which is equipment. I got a lot of equipment right here. Do you need all this? No, but I have it because I do also videography on the side. So of course the first part and the first choice you're gonna have to make is what camera to use. Any camera works, like a lot of other YouTubers say, your phone camera, buying a regular camera. I'll do a side-by-side comparison a little bit later towards the end of this to show you kind of what the difference would look like. But at the end of the day, what matters when you make your YouTube channel is the juice of your content. So the camera doesn't matter too much, but for those who are trying to get into more cinematography or just care about the look of their videos, let's get into it. So right now, I have the A6700, which is a mirrorless camera, which is what's recording right now. That's like my B cam, and I just got my A cam, which is the Sony A7S III, and then I also have an Osmo Pocket 3. Those are all used for different scenarios. I feel like Osmo Pocket, if I just want to have something low key and bring out on the go with me, it's 4K, all that stuff. My camera I'm on right now is a mirrorless cam, so it's a little bit smaller than what a full frame camera would be, but I would say if you're going for some just regular content creation, don't want to get too deep into cinematography and care about how much depth you have, just get a mirrorless camera, like a ZV-E10, A6700, something like that. And then of course my big thing, which I use for my documentaries, so that's why I got it. And then the next most important thing, sometimes more important than the camera, is the lenses. So if you have a ZV-E10, or buy a camera like that, you will have a detachable lens. Right now I got a little 11 millimeter lens on it, but I also have this variable lens, which is 17 to 70, and then on my camera I have a 24 to 70. But you have to make sure when you're buying your camera, like this is an APS-C lens, or AS, whatever I say it, so this will work on it and capture the whole frame, I guess. But if I put this on my full frame camera, there's going to be a vignette, so just be mindful of what you're getting. And then just some additional things that might help you, you know, lighting. I got a light on there right now. There's another one right here. Some lav mics, which is basically ones that like you see clipped on if you want to do that kind of content. And then for more of my cinematic stuff, I have a car mount, or just like a mount you can put on a mirror or something like that. And then just clamp, which is actually very useful. And then I got some other stuff which I use mainly for my documentaries. And probably the next most important part of having your equipment is tripods. So I got a little tripod here, I got my bigger tripod here, and then I got like a medium tripod in the closet. But you'll need that kind of stuff just so you can kind of have your place it in one spot, do whatever you need to do. Right now I got the cameraman with my camera on a gimbal just to keep it steady. But if you don't have a cameraman, this is your best friend. This is my best friend most of the time, is a tripod. So get you a nice tripod. But again, the most important thing about your content is not the equipment, it is you. Response. Let me get that. So we're at Americana Coffee Shop in Shirts, Texas. So shout out to them for letting me record in here. We tried Starbucks. They didn't allow cameras. So shout out to them. Check them out. Apparently it's good coffee. But scheduling. This is one of the most important things about being in content. I'm trying to tell y'all. So before every month, what you need to do, like I said earlier, is establish how much you want to post. If that's once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, once a month, whatever that might be, and that's when the scheduling comes in. So I know I want to post at least once a week for these types of videos, and then I'm gonna be starting like a little podcast type series, so check that out when it comes out. But I know I need to do a video at least once a week. So what does that mean? I need to schedule out my month of videos. Usually at the beginning or the end of, like at the end of this month, I'll schedule out my content for July. So right now I have scheduled out 1 video per week. This first video, of course, was first year on YouTube, how to be successful, what I learned, that type of stuff. And the next week will be something different. Why do I schedule? It's just so I know each day what I need to record or what I don't need to record to stay on top of the things I have to do outside of content. Because for most of us, we're not fortunate enough to be only making content. We have jobs, other responsibilities, so you need to plan outside of those things. It's just like having a hobby or another job, really. If you put on another job, you got to tell your previous employer, I'm about to take on another job, I can only work this time, and then you have to tell your new employer, I have another job, I can only work this time to this time. It's the same thing. So if you make content, like I make content, and I know, okay, I usually record my documentaries and football games in the weekends, or if it's during the day, it's usually in the afternoon, evenings. So what does that leave? That leaves my mornings to take care of the content I need to do. And for my short form people, that's something I'm trying to work on a lot more, is bundling. Bundling is basically you'll spend a certain amount of time at once, like maybe 2-3 hours, just shooting content. You came up with a bunch of short form ideas, you're going to shoot all of them at the same time, so you'll be able to pump them out throughout the week, throughout the month, whatever that might be. So another important thing to having a successful YouTube channel is scheduling. Schedule out how many videos you want, and then schedule out how you're going to shoot them. I usually do it by day. So today is Thursday, and I said I'm going to record my scheduling part of this video. And that's what I'm doing. It just helps me stay on task, and I think it will help out a lot of you as well. So scheduling is the next most important thing. But again, shout out to Americana Coffee. Let's get to the next thing.
Hey Xavier,
What?
what's the most important part about making a YouTube video?
Most important part of making a YouTube video, probably creating value.
How do you do that?
How do you create value? Well, I like to think of it as 3 E's. The first one being entertainment, and that's kind of like this double M bag, you know? It's fast-paced, flashy, and as far as YouTube videos go, you know, that's like your Mr. Beasts, Kai Cenats, those type of creators who entertain the viewer. You know, you're going there for a good time, 15-20 minutes of just straight engagement, fast-paced, keeping the viewer going and wanting to watch more, being entertained. The second one, though, is probably education. You know, that's your how-to videos, nice and slow, just like shadow boxing, you know, nice and slow, calm. You wanting to learn something, how to box, how to tie a tie, how to I don't know, fix a bike. Educational videos. You know, you're trying to learn something. What's the 9 to 5 really look like? How much of a, I don't know, how much of a pine cone needs to go in the dirt for a tree to grow? That kind of stuff. It's just all about education and learning something. And the final one, final E, is probably empowerment. That's like the big heavy bag. You know, you're going for the big shots. I mean, for it to fall, but empowerment is like your David Goggins, your motivational, self-improvement content. That's where you're going to go to feel better, you know, want some kind of empowerment in your body. The viewer, after watching the video, wants to feel like, man, I can do that. Man, I want to step up in life. Man, I can do this. Man, I can do that. It's time for a change. So value comes in all 3 of those, and the ultimate YouTube video is trying to combine all 3. Having the viewer empowered, entertained, and educated all at the same time. And I think for the most part, people like Sam Sulek, he's a great example. He educates the viewer, teaching him how to lift, what's the best equipment to use, how much you should go up in weight. And the entertainment part comes just in his personality. You know, some people like the way he speaks, and him going to the grocery shopping hauls, just kind of his side quests or whatever, like stuff like that is a little more entertaining. And then finally, empowerment. You know, I don't watch a lot of his YouTube videos, but I do see some of his clips, and I know he helps empower his viewers, help them feel like, man, I could be like him, I could get big, I could change my ways, I can do better, I can eat right, all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot more creators like him trying to do all 3. So I would say that's the most important part of making a YouTube video, is value. That's what a viewer is coming to watch, is gaining some type of value. Make sense?
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? So, final part of this, which is consistency. Consistency and, I guess, pushing through. Literally, I just came from a basketball game or basketball tournament that I was shooting for a team. And I'm dead in there, and I'm like, bruh, is this even worth it? And I feel the same way, and I felt the same way multiple times when I'm making videos. I'm just like, dang, is this really worth it? All this money I've invested, all this time I've invested, is it all even worth it? And during those times, you have to just record. You just have to hit record and just keep pushing through and trust in God that the process is the process and eventually it will work itself out. Being consistent, which is partially why I told myself I would post one video a week at least, because that kept me consistent. I knew my balance. I can at least make one video a week outside of, like, I think I took a month off for a year. I would made a video a week for a whole year except for like a month basically. So I'm not saying limit yourself, because that is limiting yourself to a degree. So in the second part of that, understand that this is going to be hard work. I had to remind myself of that today, and like basically this whole week is, if you really want it that bad, you're gonna have to put some work in. You're gonna have to stay up late and do things you don't want to do to be successful. And I don't know why I have to remind myself of that, because that's something I do naturally for most other stuff. But it's like when I bring the camera out, it's like, okay, I'm on my time. This is on my time. So I felt like I didn't have to work hard, if that makes sense. Like, I know, like, I don't have to make this recording right now, but I know it's just part of the game. But outside of that, I need to work harder, and like, I could be editing, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, instead of trying to like just push it off. So understand, when you're getting into this, it's gonna be hard work. It's gonna be long nights. It's gonna be early mornings if you want to get certain recordings, all that kind of stuff done. And you'll have your outside life, because this won't be your full-time job. This is nowhere near my full-time job, because I make no money from it. Like, I made money from other stuff, which includes my camera, which I'm very thankful for, but it's definitely not enough to be my full-time job. And I wasn't putting in the work to establish myself in the work. I mean, not in the work, but in the industry, I guess, whatever you want to say, to make it my full-time job. So understand you'll be doing it for nothing. And that's gonna suck sometimes, because you're like, well, why am I making this stuff if I'm not gonna profit? To a degree. Like, of course, I enjoy making videos. It's one of my passions, first and foremost, so I'm always gonna do it. But understand that in the beginning, for a while, I mean, it's been a year for me. I haven't made a dime from YouTube. I haven't made a dime from TikTok, any of that stuff. But understand it's part of the game, and it's part of God's will for you. This, at the end of the day, I was able to build my camera skills, move into a documentary gig thing, which led to my editing gig, which is now how I'm able to make some money on the side. So understand it may not come right at the beginning, and I'm still working towards it myself. I want to make YouTube money at one point. I want to make creator money, all of that stuff. But I also understand that this is a passion at the end of the day. So I want to see it through and understand that I love doing this. So be consistent. At the tip of the iceberg, establish what you'll be able to do, how many times you'll be able to post, so you can at least do that. And then after you do that, work harder. That's what I wish I would have done. I understand I have to make one video a week, but I could do more. If I really wanted to and really push myself, I could. So that's what big advice I would give to you in consistency. It's just at least find your benchmark and then work harder after that. But I appreciate y'all tapping into my video, and I really hope this helped you in your search for finding tips to be a better creator. And I wish you nothing but the best. Feel free, DM me, leave me a comment, whatever you have about any questions. I'm an open book to any kind of advice. I've been doing this for about a year. I know the game pretty well, and I understand where I lacked and where I succeeded, and how I'm back to doing what I need to do to generate good content. So bless y'all, God bless y'all, and best of luck on your journey, and I thank you so much for watching.